Yo, what's up you guys? Chelsea Football Club player ratings, here we go. Alright, first off, Edouard Mendy, the Senegalese goalkeeper. He's been insane this season, so I think he's going to get a sizable +4 upgrade. 80 million, by the way. Alright, on to defenders. We've got Ben Chilwell, who's an insane left back. I envy this guy, and I believe he's going to get a +2. Next player. Next up, Marcos Alonso. He's obviously been in Ben Chilwell's shadow, so I think it's going to be a small -1 for him. Alright, next up, a pretty unfamiliar face, Emerson. He's been an outcast for most of the season, and I think he'll probably get a -2. Alright, next up is the veteran Thiago Silva. His wife probably won't be really happy with me, but I think he's going to get a -1 because obviously old age and that, I can't really argue against it. Alright, next player. Alright, next up is Antonio Rudiger, who's had one of the most underrated seasons for a center back that I've seen in quite a while. He definitely deserves this +2. Alrighty, another +2. This time is for Kurt Zouma, the Frenchman. He's had a very good goal scoring season, so I think he deserves it. Okay, next up, Andreas Christensen. He's had a pretty decent season, like defending wise, but some of the games he's played, some of Chelsea's worst performances were when he started, so I'm gonna keep him the same. Moving on. Next up, Cesar AZPILICUETA, the Chelsea captain. He had such a stellar performance against Atletico Madrid in the round of 16, and he went and he got a red card in his last game of the season, so I was a bit 50-50 with this, but I went with that same 84 rating plus a center back position change. And to finish off the defense, we've got Reece James, who is the definition of a modern fullback. One of the best fullbacks in the Premier League by far. Definitely deserves this +5. That 77 rating is appalling. Alright, next up is young Scottish midfielder Billy Gilmour, who could be the next Jack Wilshere or he could be the next Steven Gerrard. We don't know at this point. I'm going to give him a +4. He seems pretty decent. Next up is Chelsea Croatian midfielder Mateo Kovacic, who's had an amazing season, scored a bunch of goals, assists, all that stuff. He is definitely deserving of this +1 upgrade. Alright, next up is Jorginho, the Italian midfielder, who's had a pretty decent season, but some of the games, man, again, he's not been the best, so I think he's going to keep that 83 rating. Alright, next up is Money Mace. I was a bit confused whether to give him a +4 or a +3, but then I looked at his performances, and some of them were not the best, so I ended up giving him the +3, which is still very good. He's a very promising player and he deserves it. Alright, next up is N'Golo Kante. He makes Kovacic and Jorginho look like ghosts. Honestly, this man could run the midfield by himself, and it's got to be a +1 for him. There's no two ways about this. Next up is the beautiful man Christian Pulisic, who is amazing. I think he's going to get a +2. Next player. Alright, next up, Kai Havertz, the German midfielder. He hasn't been at the races this season like he was at Leipzig before, so I think it's going to be a -1 based on his drop of standards. Alright, next up, my favorite Chelsea player, Hakim Ziyech. Sadly though, I think he's going to get a -1. He scored some important goals, but he's not been the same, right? Alright, next up, Tammy Abraham, who's been a bit of an outcast under Tuchel, and I don't think his future lies in Chelsea. I think he's going to leave in the summer, but nonetheless, he's going to get a downgrade in my opinion. Alright, next up, Callum Hudson-ODOI, the young Chelsea star, quote-unquote star. Don't know how good he is, but under Lampard, he's been brilliant. Under Tuchel, not so much. +1 for me. Alright, next up is Timo Werner. Honestly, if this guy was a school teacher, they'd still call him Miss Werner because this guy's shooting is dreadful on the pitch, man. You can tell me that he's very good at build-up play. I understand that, but his job is to score and he hasn't been doing that. It's got to be a -1 for me. Alright, that wraps up the Chelsea player predictions video. Let me know how accurate I was. Let me know how inaccurate I was. Like, subscribe, all that lovely stuff. See you guys in the next one. Peace.